This has to be the best co-op game I've ever played. And I'm going to be honest, like I only recently heard about this game literally like a couple of weeks ago. And I know the game's quite old now, it's like been out for like 5 years, so I don't know how I haven't heard of it before. But my mate mentioned that we should play it because it's a really good co-op game, so I did. And honestly, this game is so fun playing with friends. And what's perfect is that literally anyone should be able to get into Deep Rock Galactic, because it doesn't matter if you're a casual gamer or competitive gamer, this game is just so easy to get into. It's just your casual, typical first person shooter. Like I know a lot of games are like quite competitive, or you got to put a lot of time into it to like get good or whatever, or get things, but with this you don't have to. So literally you should have no problem with any of your friends getting into it. You'll notice when you play the game that there are 4 different classes you can choose from, and to be honest, I always just use the gunner because I just love shooting a lot of shit up. But literally every single class has its own use, they all have their own special abilities, and yeah, they're all pretty much as good as each other, so it doesn't, not one is more overpowered than the other. They're all pretty much the same but have their own different abilities, and to be honest, they all come in handy and they're all really useful. But of course, they're all really fun to play as well. When you get to missions, you'll notice there's all different difficulties, like higher and lower, but it doesn't matter what you choose before a mission because you can change it any time before a mission, so it's not like a set difficulty or anything. Usually we play on a high difficulty because the game for me is generally quite on the easier side. I find that the missions aren't so long either, which is actually a good thing in my opinion, because sometimes you only have like an hour or two to play with your friends. Like this is literally the perfect game. You can actually get a lot done, you get a few missions done without any problem. But for example, games like Sea of Thieves, a really fun game, really fun with your friends, but I feel like you got to dedicate a lot of hours to the game. You got to at least have a few hours, and if you don't have that, you know, you ain't going to play it. But with this game, you'll have no problem with literally playing with your friends for just like an hour or two. You'll notice as well when you pick a mission, they're all in different biomes, which is obviously really good because obviously the caves change every time you go in and they all look really different, and some of the biomes look really good as well. But to top it off as well, let's say you replay a mission or whatever, you go into another mission in the same biome, it will never look the exact same because all the caves you go in are literally random generated, which is amazing. Like when I found that out, I thought that is really, really good. So literally if you replay a mission or whatever, it will feel different because the cave is totally different. There's also quite a lot of variety in the missions as well, especially the more you play and the more you level up. So it's not just like you go into this cave, do this mission, collect that and whatever. No, it's the more you level up, the more bosses you got to fight, the harder bosses. And also I've noticed as well, like a lot of things happen in the mission what's like new. Like I'd go do this mission and like something is happening that I didn't expect or whatever. So it keeps things like fresh, exciting, it doesn't get stale at all. You also have something called milestones, which is pretty much challenges which you'll get like playing missions and completing missions, and basically the more you do, the more points you'll unlock, and points basically you'll unlock more perks, upgrade perks and all that, which you can add to your characters, which basically do different things. All different perks you can add to your characters, which sort of helps you out in the game and adds different abilities. So this probably has to be one of the best parts about the game, is literally on the ship before or after a mission. So there's obviously loads of things you can do, sort of like customize your character, your armor, your pickaxe, your weapons, whatever. But then you can also level up a lot of things like your equipment, your weapons. But there's also like a season pass page, like pretty much every single game now. But obviously the more you play, the more you progress in your season pass, which is just pretty much customization stuff. And also you unlock sort of points where you can unlock more customization. So yeah, it's all a page of basically all season pass customization stuff. But I find on the ship, the best part is literally the mini games or drinking in the bar and dancing. So you get 3 sort of mini games all together. So the first one, you get sort of like 2 goalposts, which is underneath the ship with a ball, and you know, you can set them up and sort of play football and all that, which is my least favorite because I feel like there's not enough space on the ship to actually play, even though it is quite fun. The second one is like you get these barrels and there's hoops, and you just got to kick the barrels into the hoops, and the more you get, the more points you get, and also the more combos you get, the more points you get, which is also really fun to compete with your friends and all that. But my favorite is actually sort of like a rip-off Flappy Bird, and there is a leaderboard with like the top 10. So the more points you get, you know, you'll be on that leaderboard like competing with your mates, which honestly, I've spent a long time playing this rip-off Flappy Bird. I've spent literally sometimes half an hour before a mission just because I've wanted to get top on the leaderboard against my mate. Honestly, it's quite addictive, but it is really fun. And then you've got the bar bit, which you can literally just drink beer and also dance, and you've got the music from the jukebox playing. And it's quite funny how your characters dance, to be honest. But not only that, the drinks can actually give you a special ability if you actually buy like certain ones, and it actually helps for like the next mission. So if you're going to like a really hard mission, you can actually drink like a certain beer that gives you a special ability for the next mission, and it helps quite a lot. So that's also another thing. And usually I like to give like the other side of a game as well, not only just give like good points, I also like to give sort of like the negative points. But to be honest, at the moment anyway, I can't give any negative points because what the game wants to do, it does it so well and perfect, and it's just supposed to be a fun, casual game with friends. And to be honest, I'm probably playing it at like the perfect time because obviously the game's been out for 5 years and there's been so much content added in them 5 years that I think just the game is like ready to like play with so much content, and there's just so much for me to actually do. So as I said, if you're looking for a game to like play with your friends casually, this is definitely it. And to be honest, the bonus is that it's on Game Pass, and this is the only reason why I'm playing it, because it's on Game Pass. Because I don't know if I would have paid for it. I might have done, but to be honest, I didn't even have to think about paying for it because it's on Game Pass. And you know, after playing it, I would have definitely paid for it. Let me know your thoughts on this game. Have you played it, and what do you think of it? Is it a fun game to you? Is it a fun game to play with your friends? Or maybe you don't like it with your friends. Maybe you just don't like it at all. Let me know your thoughts.